Join me now, former House Judiciary Chief of Staff Julian Epstein, former U.S. Attorney for Utah, Brett Tolman, and on the ground in Utah, criminal defense attorney Joshua Ritter. Thank you all for being with us here today. I do want to start, Julian, I believe, with the main conclusion. Although things exist in the realm of allegation, we heard a lot of evidence today, and we need to be able to state it plainly. This was a politically motivated assassination. Julian, the reason I come to you and I state that so emphatically is that today, in one of the biggest cases of media malpractice, a new poll shows that Democrats, 40% of which believe that this killer was motivated as a Republican. They thought it came from the right. Only 8% believed it to be one of their own. Someone from the left. I think it's worth us stating here unequivocally what we can know and what we can conclude with the evidence, Julian.
Oh, I think it is abundantly clear, at least to me, that this is domestic terrorism that is motivated by a far-left ideological strain that believes that you should be able to assassinate someone if you don't like the words that they are uttering. I think this is, as I've said on this network a number of times, a direct response to the overuse and the indiscriminate and the irresponsible use of the word fascism and Nazism by Democratic politicians, by academics, by activists. I think it's part of the whole left-wing culture that believes words are violence and you should be able to censor ideas that you don't like. And I think this is a direct manifestation. And you have this on one of the shell casings that says, here fascist, catch. I don't think there is any longer much debate that some of the extremist language that is being used, people talk a lot about both sides. I think there's a lot of responsibility on the left here that is not being owned up to properly. Some of this language that is being used is radicalizing large segments of the population. And you see this in polls where you have progressives and people on the left saying that political violence, domestic terrorism, is justified in certain circumstances. And this is a very disturbing trend that the left has not properly taken ownership of and the mainstream media has not properly reported on.
And that was presented in the form of evidence today. Jeff Gray, the Utah County attorney, said that this radicalization was even becoming apparent to his parents. Watch.
Robinson's mother expressed concern to her husband that the suspect shooter looked like Robinson. Robinson's father agreed. Robinson's mother explained that over the last year or so, Robinson had become more political and had started to lean more to the left, becoming more pro-gay and trans rights oriented. She stated that Robinson began to date his roommate, a biological male who was transitioning genders.
Brett, I think Julian has addressed what that all means for us as a culture, what it should mean for the rhetoric of Democrats. What does it mean as you look at the evidence for this particular case? What is the significance of this assassination being political?
Well, Dean, I'll tell you that, I've practiced in this very court and before most of the judges in that court. This will be a case in which the evidence, and I've had cases like this where it's not in question necessarily who has done it. It's a matter of putting the evidence together properly, making sure that there's proper chain of command and all of the physical evidence. I have heard from friends and colleagues in the FBI and in state and local law enforcement there that they are all working very well together, that they are doing the proper analysis and they are conducting themselves, with a seriousness on a case that they know that the world is watching. And the challenge will be to make sure that they do everything that they have to in order to prove their case and then properly present that to the jury and then, of course, properly present the evidence sufficient to justify the penalty they're seeking in the death penalty.
It strikes me that when it comes to the evidence, Tyler Robinson in these text exchanges was incredibly captured by the idea of recovering his rifle. He thought that he largely left the area evidence-free, that he might have gotten away with this and left this scene clean. But at the same time, these text messages reveal he'd been planning this for a little over a week. Back now to the Utah County attorney.
roommate. How long have you been planning this? Robinson, a bit over a week, I believe. I can get close to it, but there is a squad car parked right by it. I think they already swept that spot, but I don't want to chance it.
Joshua, you are a criminal defense attorney. Your job is to ensure the state proves beyond a reasonable doubt that its evidence support its conclusion. Now, we are very early in this entire process, and we all acknowledge that. But right now, between these texts and the evidence that has been recovered, this looks like a very solid case against Robinson.
No, I think that's a very accurate assessment of him. And one thing about these text messages, one, you can call a confession, sure. But the other thing to take note is that he is having this exchange with his roommate and romantic partner before he is apprehended and before law enforcement knows some of the details that he's revealing in those text messages. In other words, that the weapon was dropped at another location. He goes to talk about it being wrapped in a towel. He talks about even inscriptions being made on the bullet casings in this further exchange, all of which is evidence that he was the person involved and not just bragging about something that he was not involved in. I'm trying to look at this from the perspective of arguments that could possibly be made by his defense team. But to me, this is very damning evidence and incredibly powerful for the prosecution moving forward.
All right, Joshua, Brett, and Julian, I appreciate you being with us here today in the early minutes after hearing the latest there out of Utah.
Want even more Fox News on YouTube? Become a Fox News Patriot today. Click join to find out how.